Hello to everyone. This is Viewpoint on noyantapantv, and I am Benyamin Poghosyan, Senior Research Fellow at Armenia. Today we will discuss and will try to understand what happened in Syria and what implications it may have on South Caucasus. Since 2011, when unrest and then civil war started in Syria, it was clear that the country has become an arena of geopolitical rivalry between great and regional powers. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, United States, Qatar, Russia, Iran, all were competing in Syria. Russia and Iran, they were supporting the President Bashar al-Assad, while other countries were trying to remove him from power. At the end of the day, in 2014-2015, it seemed that rebels are very close to victory, but then Russia and Iran intervened militarily, Russia with air force, while Iran with ground forces. Then, in 2014, Islamic State was established first in Iraq, then in Syria, and it became clear that in Syria we cannot speak only about opposition or rebels. We should speak about also radical Islamic terrorists. And from this perspective, for many countries, including some Western countries, the President Bashar al-Assad seemed a better alternative than the Islamist terrorists from Islamic State and other terrorist-related organizations such as Al-Qaeda and others. Then, around 2018-2019, after the establishment of Astana format, Turkey, Russia, Iran cooperation, or we may call it efforts to manage their disagreements over Syria, the civil war went down. And from 2020 until 2024, nothing important was happening. The country was divided into several sectors: area under government control with Russian and Iran support, area where pro-Turkish rebels, terrorists were under control, Idlib, areas where Turkey simply occupied territories of Syria, some part of northwestern and northeastern Syria, and also some probably 25% of the country under the control of Syrian Kurds, which created Syrian Democratic Forces and which helped United States to fight ISIS, Islamic State. And as a result, United States was supporting them, and up to 900 American special forces were deployed in Kurd-controlled areas, while United States had another military base in the southern Syria in the intersection of borders between Syria, Iraq, and Jordan. Then in 2022, 2023, early 2024, Russia took some steps trying to bring Syrian and Turkish authorities closer. There were some meetings at the ministerial levels, a lot of talks, that very soon Syrian and Turkish presidents may meet, Bashar al-Assad and President Erdogan. However, this didn't happen. And then on November 27, the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, the key terrorist group, designated terrorism as a terrorist group both by the United States and the European Union, and who got backing of Turkey, started its military offensive. And surprisingly for almost everyone, within 10 days they reached Damascus. While in the southern part of Syria, another rebel group started to move towards Damascus, and at the end of the day, on early Sunday, December 8, President Assad was forced to leave country, and he landed in Moscow with his family. So what happened and why it happened? The key reason what happened in Syria and why government was defeated was the fact that its two international backers, Russia and Iran, they were distracted by other conflicts. Iran in its conflict with Israel, Russia with the war in Ukraine and its conflict with the West. However, we have to say that Russia never put too much ground forces in Syria. So the key factor behind Russia's intervention was air power, and immediately when rebels started the offensive on November 27, Russia started to use again its air power, trying to stop the rebels and support the government forces. But the key difference was that there was less or almost no ground forces backed by Iran. Why? Because during the last year of Israel-Iran confrontation, Israel significantly weakened pro-Iranian forces both in Syria, through targeted airstrikes in Lebanon by semi-destroying Hezbollah and killing its leaders, and also in Hamas by destroying the Gaza Strip and killing even Hamas leader in downtown Tehran on the day of inauguration of Iran's new president Masoud Pezeshkian. So, Iran was not able to provide ground forces, Russian air forces was not enough, and interestingly, even government forces did not fight. Surprisingly, because it seems that at least those part of government forces who are Alawis, the Shia direction, which Assad and minority of Syrians belongs, some 10-15%, it seems that they should fight. But interestingly, government forces didn't fight, Iran was not able to provide ground forces, and Russian air power was not enough to stop rebels. So, what may await Syria? I guess two basic scenarios. Scenario number one, Syria at the end of the day will be transformed into another Libya, different factions controlling different areas, non-stop chaos and civil war. Maybe something like Iraq situation may emerge, when Syria will be de facto confederation, maybe the Euro Federation, like Iraq is, with Kurdistan regional government in the north. And again, it will be a weak state, but not Libya. Still, there will be some sort of resemblance of order in Syria. So, what implications this may have for South Caucasus? The key here, I believe, is a perception about Iran's ability to protect its red lines. It's no secret that in the last 3 years, Iran clearly put out its red line in the South Caucasus. No border change, no change of internationally recognized borders, no Zangezur corridor via Armenia, no Azerbaijani attack against Armenia. And many in South Caucasus perceived Iran as a very strong, capable country who was even able to fight with Israel, of course through its proxies. So many thought that, okay, if Iran drove its red lines, then no one, neither Azerbaijan nor any one of its international backers, including Turkey and Israel, will not dare to violate Iran's red lines. However, now there are a lot of doubts and suspicions that Iran is capable to defend its red lines. Definitely, the demise of President Bashar al-Assad regime in Syria clearly was a red line for Iran, because Syria was a key pillar of Iran's axis of resistance and Iran's ability to operate in the Middle East via Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, to provide weapons to Hezbollah, to produce weapons, and etc. Definitely, we may assume that the Syrian government, the President Bashar al-Assad, was much more important for Iran than South Caucasus. So, if Iran is not able to defend its red lines in the Middle East, in the very crucial area of its interests, will be Iran able to protect its red lines in the South Caucasus? Of course, no one can provide clear answer to this question, but even the existence of this question, and definitely now in Azerbaijan, which itself, given to multiple criteria, is in active preparation for new escalation against Armenia in early 2025, even the existence of this question in Azerbaijan, is Iran able to defend its red lines? Is Iran able to defend its red line of not establishing Zangezur corridor? Automatically may increase the likelihood of Azerbaijani escalation. Because yes, Azerbaijan prepares escalation, but also in 2024 there were different factors deterring Azerbaijani aggression. Some of them is not in place anywhere. There is a no COP29, which was a significant factor to stop Azerbaijani escalation. And if also there will be doubts about Iran's possibility to protect its red line in the South Caucasus, this can be another factor behind Azerbaijan leadership calculus. There is a window of opportunity to launch new escalation against Armenia, either to open the Zangezur corridor by force, or to take additional territories and force Armenia to give the Zangezur corridor by signing a sort of agreement. The temptations by Azerbaijani side may increase. Thus, the immediate and probably short-term implication for what happened in Syria is the increase of likelihood of Azerbaijani government's temptation to launch an escalation against Armenia. And definitely Armenian government should take this situation very seriously, trying to better understand what other factors can be used to deter potential Azerbaijani escalation. While Armenia-Azerbaijan negotiations are unfortunately apparently in limbo, the same way Armenia-Turkey normalization is in limbo with a vicious circle, then President Erdogan says, I will normalize relations with Armenia only after Armenia-Azerbaijan peace agreement, while President Aliyev apparently told everything not to sign any agreement with Armenia. So these are the key implications of development in Syria and South Caucasus, and also let's see what will happen in Syria later. This is all for today, and we will meet soon.